Hi everyone, it's Adi. I wanted to welcome you to this community, and I wanted to take a few minutes to kind of introduce what this place even is and what's the goal of these broadcasts and this community in general. And I apologize if you're hearing a lot of noise in the background. It is rush hour next to my office right now, so hopefully that won't bother us too much. But basically, I come from a high tech background, and my I've been in high tech and in startups in high tech my entire career. So my first real job was in high tech. Um, there goes the siren. So even though me and my colleagues obviously were already in high tech jobs, I had a lot of friends and family who were in totally different jobs and roles. And what I noticed was that they were sitting on a lot of skills that could have translated um, into into skills that would be valuable in positions in high tech. And I kept seeing this pattern again and again, right? Where like these people who are doing something totally different, like maybe they're working in nonprofits, maybe they're admins or assistants, but time and time again, I noticed that they were actually, you know, very capable of being in a high tech job. Now, the problem is they didn't realize that. Only I saw that as, someone who was already in there, and I guess someone who spends a lot of time observing people and like looking for the best in them. And so most of my friends who weren't in high tech would think that, oh, she's in high tech because that was her first job, because she studied computer science, which I did, because she grew up in Silicon Valley, which I did, and because her dad worked in high tech, which he did. So like I had all these things, but then a handful of these friends did manage to transition from the jobs that they had into high tech, and their jobs were like not technical at all when they started. So these are people who worked in nonprofits, people who worked in academia, people who were freelancers. These are like just totally random professions, but somehow they managed, that they decided that they wanted it, and they managed to take themselves um, and really transition into high tech, and then they had suddenly this world of, first of all, a higher salary, which is always nice. It opens up a lot of freedoms in their personal lives. And like, it just raises the bar for what's possible for them professionally. So there's a lot of career growth that's possible for them now. And second of all, there's a lot more impact that they have. Number one, because, high tech jobs and startups, they they kind of have this massive reach, whereas not every other type of company does, because they're always trying to scale and get bigger and bigger. Um, and then the other thing is that a lot of them do try, to do something meaningful in the world and to use technology to enable, meaningful change. So it was both, higher income, higher impact, a lot of freedom that came with it. And those few people that were able to transition from their job into high tech, they were just, a lot of them were actually doing even better than I was, where I like came from that world. So that was cool. But then most of the people that I knew weren't able to do that, and it was mostly because some of them were just completely unqualified, but a lot of them were um, qualified, and a lot of them did sit on like this trove of skills that would be so valuable in high tech, but they didn't really know how to take it and tweak it and translate it into something, you know, that they could then present and go and really get that job. They didn't have like the right process, they didn't have the right tools, they didn't have the confidence, they just didn't have what it took. So I spent some time trying to piece together like what were those friends that that did end up making it into high tech. What were they doing differently? What did they do that worked? And I actually like grilled them with a bunch of questions. And thank you if you guys are in this group now. So thank you for letting me grill you for hours on the phone. I really appreciate it. Um, and I basically pieced together this formula, this process for how to do this, and also how not to do it, based on their stories, based on my own experience, and that's that's what I'm hoping to share in this group through these broadcasts. So just share that knowledge with you, because some of these things that they did are obvious, but some of them is just stuff that nobody's doing. Some of it is stuff that nobody's even talking about. So I really want to have like a closed, safe space where we can discuss these things and where I can share this knowledge with you and help and support you along that journey as you transition into high tech. Um, so that's the goal. And the reason that this can help anyone, but the reason that I want to help moms is because I feel like we are the most underserved segment in the job market. And I'm a mom too. I have 3 kids right now. My youngest is 5 months old almost. And um, what I've seen without fail, time and time again, in the workplace, is that moms, more than a lot of other uh, people, they're the ones who are willing to really go the extra mile. They're the ones who are willing to do whatever it takes to get shit done, and they will make it happen. We have that will, we have that force, that energy, that I think is available to everyone, but it really kind of becomes activated when you're a mom and you have to stand up for your little cubs, and you have to you have somewhere to be. You can't be like just lounging around in an office and chatting next to the coffee machine or whatever all day, because you have like, I wouldn't say like a better place to be. I don't want to get into that discussion, but like, you have another place to be other than just at work hanging out. And so when I noticed that, and this isn't new, right? Like, people have been saying this for ages. Like, you want something done, give it to a busy mom, right? So, but what I noticed is that a lot of workplaces don't really reward that behavior. And my goal is to help these moms, get out of these situations where their employer is actually like low-key taking advantage of those like superpowers, right? So a lot of times what I've noticed is that, and I have a lot of friends like this, where they're underpaid, they're overworked, and they're unappreciated in their jobs, and there's no reason. They're so talented. They're so loyal. They're so hardworking. But it's like, instead of crowning them employee of the month, it's like, let's see how much value we can extract out of her before she, like, I don't know, loses it. And I don't know, the moms that stay at these jobs, it's like it's just enough. It's always like just enough of these like little this insulting treatment. It's just enough to like keep you there, but keep you totally unsatisfied, and thinking, oh well, maybe I am not good enough, and maybe there's a reason that I'm underpaid, and maybe I can't get anything better out there. And what do I know? I've always, only been an admin. So I'm here to help, guide you through that. And if you are what I've described, where you're hardworking and you're loyal and you have the skills, then I can help you see that in yourself, and I can help you, also give you just the practical knowledge of what to do in order to take that and translate it into getting that high paying, high impact, high freedom, high tech job. So what I want you to do right now is, there at the top of the page of the group, there is a little the notification settings for the group. So I want you to enable notifications just so that you don't miss anytime I plan to do a broadcast or actually do one, or anytime there's an important and meaningful discussion going on here. Just have that enabled so that you don't miss anything. And I would actually suggest that you periodically make sure that it's still enabled, because Facebook likes to every once in a while just go and blanket disable all these notifications for the group. So yeah, make sure that's enabled. The other thing is, I want to ask you and encourage you to participate in the group and the discussion. So I'm going to be like asking questions and stuff. I want you to engage with it, because the more that you give and the more that you open up and share, the more you're going to get from this group. And also just, the more I can help you, the more, other people can support you, and the tighter this community will be. So like really the more you give, the more you get. It's like that in so much in life. And this group is actually a really good sandbox to practice that in before you go and take it to career, which we could talk about in a different broadcast. And then I just really quickly wanted to go over the group rules. So number one and most important is to be cool. Please, no mean girl behavior. This is like women in the workplace 101. Lift each other up. Okay? Don't be an a-hole. And then number two is no self-promotion. Please, don't come in here and advertise yourself. Don't come in here and advertise your essential oils or whatever. If you're doing that, by the way, if you're into one of those health pills, essential oils, whatever, pyramid schemes, let's call it by its name, then you need this group more than anyone else. We're going to get you a legit high paying job that isn't screwing you or getting you money by screwing other people. So that's just a sidebar there. I hope I didn't offend anyone, but I feel very strongly about these MLMs and how they take advantage. They really prey on moms and their desire to provide for their families and while being with their families. So I do feel strongly about that. Number three is a reminder that this group is not a job board. So I don't want this to turn into one. And I still want to, if you guys have, opportunities that you want to pass along, then you're welcome to post these here. But make sure that you're only posting things where you can directly influence, where, for instance, resumes can come directly to you, or applicants can contact you directly and you're relevant for the hiring process, or otherwise that you can significantly, help and assist in the hiring process. So don't just post random stuff that you hear. Have it be super personal and relevant, because that is how we do things here. We don't spray and pray. Okay, and we'll get into all of that with future posts. And the fourth rule is no victimhood. So this is I could do a whole training on this probably, but don't come in here to just whine about how bad your boss is treating you, or how, bad your husband is keeping you down, or your kids are, I don't know. We all have those things that are going on. Everyone has hardships. And I'm not saying to ignore what's, the bad stuff that's going on in your life, but come from a place of asking what you can really do about it. And really come, if you want to share these things, then do so in a way that is asking for, trying to find a way to deal with it. And that very subtle like mindset shift is gonna actually assist you a lot um, on this journey, because like the world rewards resourcefulness. And so if you can find that in you, obviously not everything is going to be peachy keen all the time, and like sometimes things are going to downright suck. You're going to be with a sick kid, you're going to be with like a terminally ill parent, you're going to be sexually harassed in your workplace, and there's going to be all this shit that's just coming down on you. But you have to stand strong for yourself, and I want to help you find that strength, and that's why I have this rule in place. Plus, we don't want to bring other people down into this woe is me type place. So I'm saying this out of love. I'm not trying to be like tough with you or be mean or anything like that. I'm truly saying it out of a place of caring and concern. Don't bring the victim, bring the victor. And that's it. The very last thing that I wanted to mention is I did have the pleasure of helping a bunch of women find a high-tech job, find and land a high-tech job that is high paying and way more satisfying than what they were doing before. And so I've recently started working on putting together a self-study program. So I will be mentioning that every now and again, and as well as other stuff that I'm working on. It's always going to be stuff that adds value to you. But if that's a conflict for you for some reason, or you just can't deal with it, then this probably isn't the group for you. And that's it. Other than that, I'm going to try to stick to, my goal is to do 2 of these live broadcasts a week. And I'm aiming for doing them on Sundays and on Wednesdays, but we'll see. We're just coming up on the end of summer vacation. So I think like once the dust settles of the beginning of the school year, then we're going to be able to, I'll have a better idea of what works, what times and days kind of work better, and so will you. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you in the group and hearing everything that you are dealing with, that you're accomplishing, that, just everything. So yes, please welcome.